So hi guys, my name is Aditya Rai and I'm the co-founder of E-junki and Sorditcon Pvt Ltd. So Sorditcon Pvt Ltd is working in the domain of CSR consulting. CSR means the corporate social responsibility, and under that we have this E-junki as a brand name working towards the e-waste management, the electronic waste management. So first of all, I'll welcome you all on behalf of eJunkie team, and this is going to be a very interactive session with all of you guys. That there would be some question and answer things that I would ask you during this sessions, and you have to answer. So be proactive in this session, and I expect everyone to answer whatever I ask and whatever I impart the knowledge to you. You have to just tell to everyone whosoever is around you. Okay, so we started this journey of electronic waste management recycling in 2015 when we were in our graduation days. Me and the founder of the company, Mr. Devansh Chopra, we were in the graduation days, and then we started this e-waste management. And at that time, it was at a very small scale kind of business. That I would not say business; it was moreover towards the social cause that we were working towards. And at that time we started collecting electronic waste from the individuals, households, and people whom we can tap into, like at a very lower scale. Okay, not at the corporate level, not at the government institutions. So we started this from our college itself, and then we went to study further for our masters. We have done our masters from French top tier business school in entrepreneurship, innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And there we learned more about how to start this kind of business in India, where we call it e-waste recycling, because we have learned and we have heard about plastic waste management, solid waste management, and other things that the recycling industry has for you. But there was pretty much like one or two players, or maybe you can just count it on your finger. There are only few numbers of players who were there in the India who were doing something for the electronic waste management, but that was also not on a very formalized note, I would say. So we started this initiative again in 2020 in the pandemic time period, where we kick started this thing with a whole new team of people with more passion and more enthusiasm towards doing something great for the society, doing something better for the society, with their social instinct that they have for doing something great for the environment as a whole. So we have now a team of 12 to 15 people who are constantly working towards the electronic waste management, and they are enlightening people about and awareing people about the proper disposal of the e-waste. So why this is a pressing issue right now? Because we are heavily surrounded by the electronic items that we are using currently. We are interconnected each other with the help of a device, with the help of a technology that we are using. Okay, so this is quite essential nowadays, that how we are dependent upon the technology. So we have to think about how we are going to dispose it off. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Just anyone can let me know if you can just see it or not.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, that's great, Asif. Thank you for telling me. So this session is all about the electronic waste management and how you can dispose it off, and why you shouldn't dispose it off with someone who is unauthorized to recycle it. Okay, because e-waste is quite different from the all the other waste streams that are generated in the country or in the world. We have seen the solid waste, we have seen the plastic waste, but those are not that toxic as compared to electronic waste, because the toxicity level in the electronic waste is much higher, way higher than the toxic substance that we can found in the plastic waste or the other kind of waste that we regularly generates by the consumption or usage of some sort of things that we are doing for making our life more convenient and more easy. So during this spree of searching for some recyclers, because as young entrepreneurs, we thought initially like why we should not start a recycling facility in the country. But when we got into this, we had a picture of reality in front of us that no, we cannot start a recycling facility in India at such a ease, because it requires a huge amount of investment in it, and we weren't having that much of investment with us at that time. As of now as well, we do not have that much of investment to start a recycling facility, because it incurs a cost of around 2 to 3 crores, I would say. Okay, so we are a bootstrapped company. So we started searching for recyclers in pan India basis, like with whom we can get associated with, so that we can, whatever we are collecting, the electronic waste, we can properly channelize it to them and get it recycled. So we thought like we should not think about getting a recycling facility, rather than getting associated with a recycler who can recycle it on behalf of us, and done the motto that we have, the motto we are following, getting the all the e-waste recycled. Okay, so in that spree, in that search of recyclers, we got connected with Huladeck Recycling, who are our authorized recycler based out of Kolkata. And together we have taken this initiative of Sabko Batao e-waste Ghatao, because this is quite necessary these days. जब तक सबको पता नहीं चलेगा तब तक ई वेस्ट कभी नहीं घटेगा. That is the whole thing, because people are unaware about the electronic waste. They do not have the proper knowledge, like why electronic waste should be disposed of with an authorized recycler. If it is not recycled, then what would be the harmful implication on the environment or on the human life? So this is quite necessary, that whatever I tell you, you have to tell everyone, and then subsequently reduce the electronic waste. So why it is quite necessary these days, and why it is a pressing issue, burning issue right now, to manage your electronic items that reaches their end of life. So we are living in a digital dark age. Digital dark age means the heavily dependence upon the technology we are surrounded by to make our life more convenient. So you can see in 2019 itself, we sold 282 millions of phones in India only. So you can imagine the rate of production of electronic items that is going on, and the consumption as well of the same. And on an average, an individual changes his mobile phone in just 2 year, in every 2 year. This is because about the fascination that we have towards the technology. Whatever new technology comes in the market, we get really thrilled with it, and we just wanted to get our hand on it. We just want to buy it, use it, and some sort of I would say status thing, status symbol is also involved in it. So this is the thing, we get easily fascinated with the technology. So because of that only, we are consuming, our consumption of electronic items are much higher than ever. And because of that, we are discarding the old electronic items that we were using currently at a more faster rate. So this is the problem. The technological fascination is the problem. In you can see 300 billions of computer and 1 billions of cell phones goes into production every year. And this is quite amazing to see, and this is quite saddest part as well, that it all takes 245 kgs of fossil fuels, 20 kgs of chemicals, and astonishingly 1.5 tons of water to just manufacture one technology, that is your computer or monitor. So you can imagine how we are dependent upon the natural resources for the manufacturing of electronic device. We are taking a huge sum of natural resources from our environment for manufacturing it, and at the end of life of that electronic device, we are again disposing of with some unauthorized person who are harming the environment again. So collectively, if we can see in a broader picture, for the production, for the consumption of electronic device, we are dependent upon the environment, we are taking something, but at the end of the life of that electronic device, we are again harming the environment. So we have to protect it somehow. So in the first instance, at the production stage, we cannot stop those things, because it is quite necessary, and technology are necessary for our life, as we know that it has become a necessity for us. But at the end of life, whatever we are doing with the technology is solely dependent upon us, like what we want to do with it. whether we want to dispose it off with some person who are not authorized to dispose it off the electronic items, or we get it recycled for a better purpose and go in a circular economy model, rather than just living in a linear economy model. Linear economy model is simply like you just went to a shop, purchase the item, consume it, and then dispose it off. But the circular economy model is you have purchased the item, you have consumed that item, and you have get it recycled. And after recycling, the essential materials that comes out of the extraction of that items, that electronic items or that product, goes into the economy again as a raw material for the production of newest technology or newest items. So that is a circular economy model, and that we have to adopt it. Otherwise, the days are not so far that things get so worsened for us, for the environment, for the human life. So what happens when a new technology becomes an old one? Generally, क्या करते हैं हम लोग? Generally, we have that sort of mentality of stacking up things. हमें इकट्ठा करने में एक मजा आता है कि कोई भी चीज है उसको बस इकट्ठा कर लो घर में, कहीं पे भी है उसको उठा के वार्डरोब में डाल दो, कबर्ड में डाल दो, स्टोर रूम में डाल दो, कहीं डाल दो, बस वो 20-20 साल पड़े रहती है. दैट आई हैव पर्सनली सीन इन माय एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट सिंस आई स्टार्टेड दिस. Like people are disposing of their 20 years old mobile phones that I don't understand what they were doing since now with that. That technology is being obsolete, abandoned by the company itself. Why they have that sort of technology, I don't understand. Like they cannot even put their 4G or 3G sim in that mobile phone, but then also they have that mobile phone. Okay, so this is the problem. हमारी सबसे बड़ी मेंटालिटी यही है, चीजों को इकट्ठा करना. So I have seen this thing in one of the research. Like in developed countries, people see the waste as an waste. If in some if some technology stopped working, it is damaged now, so they treat it as a waste. But in developing countries like India, Bangladesh, or Pakistan, or any other countries, we treat any electronic items when it is damaged, then we do not treat it as a waste, rather than we treat it as an asset. It is something like we are buying an asset, but that is not an asset. Okay, that is a waste if it is not working for you, and if it is not for for a better purpose you can use it. Okay, so that is a waste. So we have to start treating waste as a waste rather than treating as an asset. So प्रॉब्लम यहीं पे आती है, जब हम इसको एसेट की तरह देखना शुरू करते हैं तो हम इसको डिस्पोज ऑफ करने के बारे में नहीं सोचते. एक काफी अच्छा सा एग्जांपल है मेरे पास, दैट आई वांट टू शेयर विद यू गाइस, दैट यू मस्ट हैव seen how people are rapidly disposing of their solid waste, the waste they generate by the consumption of food and other items, the FMCG products basically, I would say. Okay, so they just dispose it off. People tends to dispose it off on a rapid pace. Why it is that, and not it is with the electronic waste? द सिंपल थिंग इज, अगर ज्यादा दिन तक आप घर में कूड़ा रखोगे, इट इट स्टार्ट स्मेलिंग. वो स्मेल करना शुरू कर देता है. ठीक है, इट विल क्रिएट अ बैड ओडोर इन योर हाउस. So that is why we start discarding it at a more faster rate. But this is not with the case of electronic items. Electronic items किसी भी तरीके का कोई भी स्मेल नहीं क्रिएट करता, कुछ भी नहीं करता. So that is why it ये एक कोने में जाके बैठा रहता है, एक कोने में हमारे वार्डरोब में कहीं बैठा रहता है. बट इट हैज अ लॉट ऑफ टॉक्सिसिटी इन इट, एंड इट क्रिएट्स अ lot of, you cannot see it, it is an intangible thing. You cannot see the hazardous fumes that gets out of the electronic items when it is discarded at your home and it is sitting idle in the corner of your house. That is quite life threatening thing, and we are breathing in that air in the house. So we have to discard it. We have to change our mentality. We have to shift from, we have to take a dynamic shift from keeping something as an asset rather than just discarding it as a recycling purpose for a better use. So what comes in electronic items? So a lot of people have confusion about the what sort of items comes in the electronic waste. So someone asked me whether the toys that the children use it comes under the electronic items, the toys that can be run on the battery. So yeah, that comes in the electronic waste. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम्स कैटेगरी, बिकॉज एनी आइटम जो भी बिजली पे चलता है, जिसके अंदर भी सर्किट है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का कंपोनेंट है, that comes under the electronic waste category, whether it be your earphone, your charger, your UPS, batteries, anything that runs on the electricity component, that comes under the electronic waste segment. And now we have broadly classified electronic waste into an old one, जो कि पुराना हो चुका है, क्वाइट सिंपल, एंड द ब्रोकन वन, जो कि वियर एंड टीयर की वजह से टूट चुका है, ठीक है, दैट इज क्वाइट, बट देन देयर इज एन ऑब्सोलीट एंड आउटडेटेड टेक्नोलॉजी. So can you just give me an example, and I would say give me a brief difference between an obsolete e-waste and an outdated e-waste or technology, I would say. Anyone can unmute yourself and just give me a brief difference between these two terminologies.
Absolute e-waste, we can say that the CTR monitors we used in 2010 or 12 are completely wasted now. We cannot use them right. And a laptop from 2017 which has less capacity of RAM and storage is e-waste. We can use that, but we discard because we have new options.
Perfect, perfect. So that is a great example, I would say, for defining these two terminologies, the obsolete and outdated one. So obsolete are all those technologies which are not currently being in used, and which are being the production of these which technologies are being halted by the company from a longer time. So the CRT TV monitor was a great example to define the obsolete technology. And the outdated one are those technologies which are just superseded by the newest technology. So the easy example is your iPhone 12, I would say, because it is superseded by the iPhone 13, the newest one. So iPhone 12 would be an outdated technology as of now. So this is quite simple, and that was a great example that you have just given in this session. So this is another interactive thing. How much tons of electronic waste does India generate? Do you have any idea? Just take a wild guess. 10 million, 3.5, 1.36.
10 million, maybe.
Okay, okay, okay,
3.5.
okay. Anyone else?
Maybe 1 million.
10 million, I
Okay,
guess.
okay. Keep on going, guys. Keep on going. That's great. You are participating proactively. Please go on. We have 34 people around here. So just few more answers from you guys, and then I'll move ahead. Anyone want to share his or her thought?
3.5 million.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's move ahead with this thing. So as of 2019 statistics, India was generating 3.5 million tons of electronic waste, but as of now, in current situation, India is hovering around 10 millions of electronic waste generation every year. And India stands at third in the world in generation of electronic waste, just behind China and USA. But the saddest part is we are only recycling 5% of electronic waste that we are generating. Only 5%. And the rest 95% of electronic waste is either untreated or treated by some persons who are not authorized by the Central Pollution Control Board. So people who are authorized by the Central Pollution Control Board are the only genuine persons who can and possibly recycle the electronic items, because they have the set of means, the preventive, they take the preventive measures that are set off by the Central Pollution Control Board. So they can only recycle the electronic item, because electronic waste is not like any other waste that anyone can recycle it. by crushing it or dismantling it. It needs a proper precision. It needs a proper protocol to recycle it. It is not like any other waste stream that we generate. Okay, so who are the unauthorized person that I am talking about? So these are the unauthorized person, the kabadi walas or the scrap aggregators. These are the unauthorized person who are recycling. I would not say recycling. They are just disposing of the electronic waste item that you are discarding with them. So this is quite hazardous for their life even, and to your life even. Okay, so they have adopted a practice of cherry picking. So cherry picking means just extraction of essential items, the valuable items to make money, and then dispose it of all the other items in the landfills or in the water bodies. Those valuable items are your gold, silver, copper, aluminium, and palladium. So these are few valuable items that makes money for them, and they just extract it, and rest of the toxic materials that comes with the electronic waste with these valuable items get disposed of in the landfills, because they do not have that kind of means and technology to get it dispose it of in a very environmentally and sustainably manner. So that is the thing. They have adopted a practice of I would say, for extracting these materials, uh, acid bathing and chemical leaching process. So with acid bathing and chemical leaching process, they persuade the children below the age of 18 years old to do this process of extracting the gold, because they dip the motherboard and chipboard into the acid, and then they extract the gold out of it. Okay, so that is quite hazardous practice that they have adopted. And people who are living in New Delhi must have known about this Selampur area, that how it is heavily dominated by the informal sector people. So that is the thing. You do not have to sold off these items to the unauthorized person who are not authorized to recycle it. Okay, and the second thing is they are just disposing of these items into the landfills and the water bodies. So what would happen if they are disposing it to the landfills and water bodies? So when the items, the toxic items from the electronic waste dispose it off into the landfills, the toxic substance gets deep down into the groundwater level. It seeps down into the groundwater level and contaminates it. And ultimately, we are drinking that polluted water, that contaminated water. Okay, so that is the problem. We are harming our life, like unknowingly, unintentionally. We do not know like how that electronic waste that we are disposing of with the kabadi walas or the scrap aggregators are unknowingly damaging our internal organs. That is the thing. Apart from that, they have done several other things with the electronic items, like burning it. We have seen this thing in the landfills, how they burn the electronic items. And when an electronic item is burned in the landfills, the toxic fumes gets into the air, and then you can imagine how our air would get polluted and the toxicity level would increase significantly. So we have to stop this kind of things, because otherwise in the landfills they're disposing of it this in the water bodies as well. We have seen in the last several years, कभी देखा है कि बीचेस पे जब भी कुछ ऐसा साइक्लोन ऐसा कोई चीज आती है, तो हमने देखा है कि कैसे तरह तरह के कूड़े हमारे बीचेस पे आके इकट्ठा हो जाते हैं। अलग अलग तरीके के क्लोथ्स होते हैं उसमें, तमाम प्लास्टिक मटेरियल्स और सब कुछ होते हैं, बट वी हैव नॉट इवन स्पेयर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम्स फ्रॉम डिस्पोजिंग ऑफ इन द वाटर बॉडीज। हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम्स भी उसमें डिस्पोज ऑफ कर रहे हैं। तो यू कैन इमेजिन कि जो मरीन लाइफ है हमारी, वो कितने ज्यादा थ्रेटनिंग पोजीशन में है व्हेन वी आर जस्ट डिस्पोजिंग द टॉक्सिक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट इनटू द marine into the water bodies. So we are polluting the soil, air, and water, everything. So we are accountable how we are going to treat the electronic items that we are purchasing, because we have the set of liability how we are going to dispose it off further when it reaches the I would say it reaches the end of life of its after the consumption. So what sort of toxic substance does these electronic waste have? I will tell you that as well. So these electronic items have the phosphor, lead, cadmium, mercury, dioxins, furans, and numerous other amounts of the harmful substance these electronic waste items have. And there is one more thing that I have seen in a research that around 2.5 million of people in India die just because of uh, toxic air they are breathing in, just because of breathing issues. 2.5 million people annually. You can imagine how the huge amount of people, huge number of people are dying in India. 2.5 million is around 25 lakh people. They are dying in India just because of breathing issues. And these toxic substances could harm your internal organs like kidney failure, cancer, and reproductive system failure, and in other different kinds of failure. And it harms your, it direct impact your lungs as well, the toxicity fumes that you inhale. Okay, so who we are E-junki, a responsible ethical e-waste management company based out of New Delhi, and we are in association with our Huladek, who are a producer responsibility organization. Okay, so this is our process. It is quite simple. You can see it. You just have to raise your pickup with us. Okay, whatever sort of items do you have, you just have to raise a pickup request with us, and after the confirmation we will collect it from your doorstep. So there is one thing I have seen in France, like people incur their own cost for getting their own e-waste recycled. Okay, they have to pay to the recyclers for getting their electronic waste items recycled. There is nothing like recyclers are going to pay something to them for the purchasing of their electronic waste. It is not like that. They have some taxation, some liability on them by the government, but it is highly missing from the India, in the Indian scenario, in the developing countries basically. So we have to get it our electronic item recycled, but there is one more thing, like recyclers are going to pay you something. So why should not you get it recycled? You are getting all the services, you are getting the doorstep pickup, then you are getting the monetary benefit as well. So why you should not get it recycled? You have no other reason to get it not recycled. Okay, so after the collection of the electronic waste, we segregate it into the different kinds of electronic waste that is classified by the Central Pollution Control Board. That way, that is your industrial waste, industrial electronic waste, that motors kind of things comes into that, and the medical waste, the BP machine and other systems come under the medical waste, and the batteries that are the most hazardous one among all the electronic waste items, and the consumer electronic, the items that we generally use, like your TV, fridge, and kind of things like microwave, and the IT telecom. So IT telecom, the laptop and the routers kind of things comes under the IT telecom things. So after this segregation, we transport it to the recyclers that we have on our pan India basis. So this is our services, that is door to door pickup and the data destruction. So data destruction is quite essential, because we have seen people have this hitch of getting their electronic items like laptop and mobile phones getting recycled with someone, because they have this hitch of like whether their data could be getting theft, or there would be a breach of confidentiality if they discard it with someone. Okay, so we provide the data destruction facility that is on site in front of them. सो इससे प्रूफ मिलेगा सारा आपको कि हाँ, आपके आंख के सामने ये डेटा डिस्ट्रक्ट हो चुका है, अब इससे कोई भी डेटा कहीं से भी ब्रीच नहीं हो सकता, कोई भी लीक आउट कुछ नहीं हो सकता. So this is quite essential, and it is a mandate from Central Pollution Control Board to do it. So whosoever is not giving you this service, so please do not go with them, do not entertain them, just get it recycled with a genuine recycler. Okay, so the third one is awareness drive. So awareness drive is quite essential for company like us, for organization I would say like us, because जब तक हम अवेयरनेस ड्राइव्स नहीं करेंगे, हम लोगों को नहीं बताएंगे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट के आइटम्स में, they would not start getting it recycled, they will just dispose it off with the kabadi walas or scrap aggregators. So under these drives, we go to the residential apartments, government institutions, corporates, and all the other strata of the society, and teach them about how to dispose it of the electronic items and what are the hazardous implications of electronic items if they are not disposing of, and then we start collecting from there. Okay, so this is kind of 2 or 3 days of campaign that we run in a society. Okay, and then there is awareness sessions that I am doing with you guys, like enlightening you about the electronic waste management. The fourth thing is the extended producer responsibility. So this is more towards the corporate sector. ये corporate sector के है, because corporate sectors are governed by the Central Pollution Control Board. There are set of guidelines and norms, rules and regulations by the Central Pollution Control Board that how they have to treat the electronic items. For example, I would say if Samsung is producing 1 ton of electronic items in a year, so they have to recycle same amount of electronic items in that year, whether it could be in any form. अगर उन्होंने फ्रिज मैन्युफैक्चर किया 1 टन, सो ये कोई कंपलसरी नहीं है दैट दे हैव टू रिसाइकल द फ्रिज ओनली. दे कैन रिसाइकल एनी काइंड ऑफ आइटम दैट comes under the electronic waste segment. They have to but recycle in the same quantity that they are generating. Okay, so this is for them, but there is no rules and regulation for the individuals, and I would suggest don't push the government to make one, because if they make one, they would put a taxation on the individuals, where individuals have to pay some sort of taxes in terms of getting their electronic waste items recycled. So that is the thing. So don't push the government to make some sort of laws and rules and regulation for the government, for the individuals, rather than taking an initiative from us only to get our e-waste recycled with an authorized recycler. So the next thing is this, the pictures from our awareness drives, the collection that we have done so far in the Noida, in sector 137. So you can see how people are enthralled with the response that we have given them for the collection of electronic items from them. And that was a quite great campaign that we had in that uh, residential apartment, and I have personally given them the awareness campaign lecture on the electronic items, how they can dispose it of in front of the residential apartment people. So this is now another interactive thing that you guys have to participate in, and everyone had to participate. There would be some set of questions that you have to answer in a yes and no, and on the basis of yes and no, you would gain some points. And at the end of the session, you have to calculate all the points that you have gathered. Okay, so this is quite simple. So I'm going to start this now. You just have to take out your pen, pencil or notebook and calculator basically, and just calculate your point. Ready?
Yes,
So
sir.
yes, this is the first one. Have you ever broken your phone screen? कभी भी फोन आपका टूटा है आपके हाथ से, कभी गिर गया हो, टूट गया हो, फोन स्क्रीन टूट गई हो? So if it is yes, then 20 points. If it is no, then 10 points. कभी भी स्क्रीन टूटी हो, quite simple, then 20 points. अगर कभी नहीं हुआ, then 10 points. Do you raid your refrigerator for a midnight snack? किसको किसको भूख लग जाती है रात को 12 बजे? जिसको भी लग रही है, just give yourself 20 points. And if it is a no, then 10 points. Do you need the AC on all night? If it is yes, then 20 points. If it is no, then 10 points. So people, you have to calculate your points. Just calculate it, and there is nothing like you have to tell in the chat box. You just have to calculate the points. Have you ever dropped your phone in toilet? So this is quite interesting. This is for everyone who cannot live without their smartphones for a microsecond as well. तो जो भी वॉशरूम में लेके जाते हैं, कभी ऐसा हुआ है? If it is yes, then 20 points. If it is no, then 10 points. This is quite usual, and मेरे से तो कई बार होता है. Do you bang the remote controls when they are not working? If it is yes, then 20 points. If it is no, then 10 points. Okay, this is quite weird, but अगर कोई करता है तो क्या कहा जा सकता है, करे. But do you need the geyser on even during summers? If it is yes, then 20 points, and if it is no, then 10 points. Last but not the least, how many times do you charge your mobile phone? Once in a while, then 10 points, twice, then 15 points, thrice, then 20 points. But if it is always on a charging pack, then 50 points. एंड अगर किसी का ऐसा है कि वो हमेशा ही चार्जिंग पैक पे है, प्लीज गेट इट रिसाइकल्ड एंड गेट अ न्यू वन. ओके, you do not have to rely on that mobile phone that is always on a charging pack. Don't increase your e footprint. So that was the last one. Now you have to calculate your point and tell in the chat box how much you got. So we have start getting the points. Shams Tazib. So winner 125 with 125 points. Nice. So most of the people are around 90 or 100 points, I think. Nice. So what happens when whatever point you got? So whosoever got 70 points, you're a rock star, doing a great job. आपका ये footprint काफी कम है. But whosoever are in the bracket of 75 to 100 points, you are in a good place. But 105 to 175 के bracket वाले लोग को बहुत ज्यादा काम करने की जरूरत है, because आपका footprint बहुत ज्यादा है. You have to control it. But whosoever got 70 points, it is not like that. You are evaded from the responsibility of getting your electronic waste items recycled. You also have to get it recycled, and everyone has to embrace the mantra of reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, everyone has to embrace this mantra of recycling and get your e-waste recycled, or any other kind of waste items, get it recycled, because recycling is the only thing that can make us move towards the sustainable lifestyle. बिकॉज अदरवाइज आगे तो फ्यूचर काफी खराब है, जैसा पॉल्यूशन इंडिया में है. ठीक है. सो इफ वी वांट टू कर्ब इट, इफ वी वांट टू जस्ट curtail it, then we have to move towards the sustainable lifestyle by embracing the recycling. So this is the session all about सबको बताओ e-waste घटाओ. You have to tell everyone, tell your parents. That is quite necessary because parents काफी rigid होते हैं इस चीज में, जल्दी मानते नहीं है किसी बात को लेके. उनको समझाना सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात है. ठीक है, तो आपको उनको बताना पड़ेगा कि कोई भी आइटम वो नया खरीदते हैं तो गेट इट एक्सचेंज्ड इफ इट इज वर्किंग. If it is working, then you can get it exchanged with the any service provider or any companies from which they are purchasing it. But अगर ये टूट चुका है, एकदम खत्म हो चुका है, एक्सचेंज लायक भी नहीं बचा है, then get it recycled rather than disposing of with the kabadi wala or the scrap aggregators who are not authorized to recycle it. So pledge to recycle today, and this is our number flashing on your screen: 9717594265. This is our WhatsApp number as well. You can just WhatsApp us for any query or for the raising your pickup request, and for any other query related to waste management, related to electronic waste management, anything. Just hit us a mail at info@e-junki.com, and we have our Instagram handle @recycle_e-junki. So there we put regular updates about the electronic waste items that we are dealing in, and the other updates about this industry. Thank you guys. That's all from my side. I'm stop sharing my screen. So anyone from the Jamia Hamdard College can take over from here.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
How are you? It was such an enlightening session. I'm like honored that you participated and enlightened the student about the e-waste management, because I think it is the need of the hour, and everybody, including the students or parents or anybody, should know how they can, involve in e-waste management, because that's how we can do or create productivity in the present and future.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. And I'm honored that you have given me this space, this opportunity at Jamia Hamdard to make students more enlightened about the electronic waste items. And I expect all the students that they would going to embrace the recycling in their lifestyle, and they are going to teach other people as well about the electronic waste management and any other waste stream that we are generating right now.
I really hope so. In fact, I have learned from the session, so I'm also going to, tell others, to recycle. And when I will also, like impart
Hmm,
and like
hmm,
contribute for the e-cycling
hmm,
things,
hmm.
hopefully.
And one more thing that I would like to tell you, as a like in a college, what we are currently doing, we provide a compliance to the colleges as well if they are requiring the NAC accreditation. So if they require NAC accreditation, we recycle all the electronic items that they have gathered for a longer time, and after recycling we give certain certificates and the compliance forms, and behalf of that compliance form furnishing that, they can accumulate some points in the environmental clause of NAC accreditation. Okay, so that is the one thing. And the second thing is, we install electronic waste bins in the colleges as well, because students have the accessibility to the disposal of the plastic waste and other waste, but they do not have this accessibility towards the electronic waste bins, because nobody has taken this initiative of installing the bins. So we are providing this facility as well, so that अब ऐसा क्या है कि जनरली एक चार्जर या एयरफोन के लिए तो कोई फोन नहीं कर सकता किसी को कि हाँ मेरे पास ये चार्जर आया है या ऐसा खराब पड़ा है तो आप ले जाओ, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि feasible नहीं है. So we provide the bins at the colleges, so that jitne bhi smaller amount of electronic items hai that students are generating, or faculty member or anyone around your colleges, they can just dispose it of that smaller amount of items in the bins, and then our van will come and collect it in a monthly basis or whatever the terms we agree, or upon the filling of that bin. So that is two things that I wanted to share with you.
That's a great initiative, and I think students should, involve in the initiative. I will talk to other students as well, and if we can do something to support the initiative, we will update you positively.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And one more thing, students, that we have floated a feedback form in the chat box. So you have to just fill in, and it is mandatory to fill in, because upon that your attendance will be marked, and moreover you will get the e-certificates at your email IDs. And be sure to mention your correct name with the correct email IDs, because हमने कई बार देखा है बच्चे गलत ये नाम डाल देते हैं, फिर कहते हैं हमारा नाम ये तो नहीं था. तो उनकी प्रॉब्लम है कि वो गलत नाम डालते हैं या गलत ईमेल एड्रेस डालते हैं, जिससे उनके पास ई सर्टिफिकेट्स नहीं पहुंचते हैं. सो प्लीज करेक्ट अपना नाम विद द करेक्ट ईमेल एड्रेस आप फिल करना इस फीडबैक फॉर्म. ओके, एंड यू विल गेट द ई सर्टिफिकेट्स.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, students, do you want to contribute? Anything you want to ask to sir?
Anything,
I have a
anyone? Yes,
I
yes,
have a
please go
question.
ahead. Yes.
Like you have said that on the spot you destroy the data of the laptop or phone, whatever person is
Hmm.
recycling. So what's
Hmm.
the process behind that? Do you just format the laptop or
No, no,
mobile phone,
no.
or you
No, no, no,
do
no.
you follow certain rules?
Yes, so there are certain rules and regulation laid down by the Central Pollution Control Board, because अगर हम सॉफ्टवेयर से करेंगे, then that can be retrieved again by the software. So that is quite simple thing.
Yes, yes. That's why I
हाँ,
asked.
yes, so we do not do it in a that process by defogging it from the software. Rather than we extract the hard drive from it, and then there are 7 points prescribed by the Central Pollution Control Board, and in those 7 points you have to drill in it. Okay, वो 7 पॉइंट्स होते हैं आपके हार्ड ड्राइव में जहां पे ड्रिल करने होते हैं, और वो 7 पॉइंट पे ड्रिल करने के बाद आपका डेटा कंप्लीटली इरेज हो जाता है, एंड न्यू डेटा और रिट्रीव करना वहां से खत्म हो जाता है, वो प्रोसेस ही खत्म हो जाता है वहां से. So that is the thing that Central Pollution Control Board has mandated to us to do it with the on-site destruction of data.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Is there anyone? So I think we are at the end of the session. So I would like to extend my heartiest gratitude to the faculty member of the Jamia Hamdard Takdees Fatima ma'am, Professor Takdees Fatima ma'am, and all the students that you have proactively participated in this session. And we are grateful that you have given us this opportunity to enlighten you more about the electronic waste items. And please stay safe, stay healthy, and keep recycling. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.